Hey guys, good morning. Welcome to Living It Up. Today is going to be all about this, the 2023 Royal Enfield Conti GT 650. I don't know, other than the paint scheme, it looks quite similar to the older bike, because it is. But it does get some tasteful components from the Super Meteor, namely, you get the same LED headlight, the same switches, adjustable levers, which is a welcome addition. On the engine front, it's exactly the same power, the same torque, but it is OBD2 compliant, as you would expect. And now gets this blacked out treatment just like the exhaust. But the big news here is, of course, the addition of the alloy wheels, which means you can run tubeless tires, no longer need a main stand in case you encounter puncture. And the tubeless tires are none other than Vredestein, which I really hope are the shot in the arm which the Conti GT needed, especially in the corners, because I felt it kind of lost its mojo after switching to the Seats. Is that really the case? Let's go and find out. Even after all of these years, with the engine staying pretty much the same, it still manages to put this big smile on your face every time you ride it. Just cause how refined it is, how smooth, with all of that torque available on tap, and of course that amazing exhaust note. And I'm happy to report that the GT is also back to its fun self, even in the corners. It's quite interesting because it's not often that you get to ride on a bike which was previously equipped with spoke wheels and is now running alloys, because it makes a big difference. Because spokes have a little more give, so they really help in terms of ride quality, acting as a second level of cushioning, to save you from the impact. But with the alloys, they are not that way. They are a lot more direct, which on a bike like the GT comes really handy, because you have much better feedback from the front. You have a much better understanding of what the front is doing, how much grip there is available, so then you can exploit it. And that you can, because that's where the Vredesteins really excel, because they provide a lot more grip. The problem with the Seats was not really the grip per se, but more their flat profile, which made the GT a lot more difficult, a lot more physical to ride around in corners. It had lost its agility a little bit, but now with these rounder profile Vredesteins, the GT is a lot easier to ride, a lot more fun to ride, and you can also carry a lot more speed into corners thanks to the extra grip which is available. But having said that, I think the overall setup is also not really meant for sportier riding, because it's more towards the side of providing a plush ride quality. There's barely any rebound damping at the front, which means the front has a tendency to stand up, especially when you pick up the pace and are going faster into the corners, which then means that you have to put multiple inputs for the bike to hold its line. But then again, you can argue that a GT was not really meant to set corners on fire. It was just meant to be a simple, fun bike, and it continues to do that very well. How much will all of these updates put you back by? About 15 to 17,000 rupees, which I genuinely think is a pretty fair price for the advantages, the improvements that these updates bring to a table. But having said that, I would have also liked a little bit more. For example, the dials, they're still quite basic. They don't come with a clock. They don't come with a gear indicator. And secondly, the seat has been carried forward from the previous iteration. Not much wrong with it, but it can definitely do with a little more padding to make longer journeys a little more comfortable. But there's still no denying the value for money proposition that the Royal Enfield Conti GT 650 brings to the table. And especially now with all of these updates, it's also earned back the one element which was slightly missing, which is fun. Because now it is that much more fun, irrespective of where you ride it.